The condition is really crazy condition.
And that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurfing.
Sarah-Quita giving Antoine elbow a run for his body. Here we go. What a finish.
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team's just got to work a little harder. Welcome to the Windsurfing Podcast, back again for episode 19. And this week we have one of the top all-round women windsurfers in the world today. She does it all, but she was a latecomer to windsurfing. She kicked off her athlete career, I guess, as a handballer, and we hear about the similarities between the two, which is kind of interesting, I gotta say. We also talk about her training with Sarah-Quita and how that's gone. We talk about equal prize money for women and men in sport. We talk about how she works for Starboard and the opportunities that are coming up with the new discipline of the IQ foil for windsurfing in the Olympics. Who is it? It is, of course, Oda Johanne.
Hello, Oda. How you doing?
Hello, Maciek. I'm doing good. I'm in Italy now and inside the van. A windless day today. So perfect with a podcast for a podcast.
That looks really, really pimp, your van. I mean, yeah. Looks like better than some of the hotel rooms we stay in.
I guess so. Yeah, it has everything like a shower, kitchen, a bed. And yeah, it's nice. Mm-hmm.
Everything you need to go tripping around Europe. So you've been basically driving around the place. Mm-hmm. But what I want to ask you is, you were driving around with Maciek Rutkowski and Sarah-Quita. So basically the top three freestyle women freestylers traveling together. How does that work? You get competitive with each other? You're pushing each other, but...
Yeah, so for me, I know that I realized it's better for me to sail with them. So I picked up Sarah in Holland, and then we drove. We had one session with Mike only. She's still there. And then we also sailed with Lina Arpenstein in Denmark. But it is good for us to train together. Like, Sarah is the queen. She's the best. And it's always good to have somebody to look up to on the water. And I think it's good for her also to sail with us. Yeah. Especially when it's cold weather. We get her into the wetsuit.
Yeah. But do you not feel sometimes like, okay, I want to beat Sarah, so then training with her also improves her? You don't get that type of...
Yeah. Like I was locked in Aruba for 110 days. There were no flights home, and my trip there should be like 6 weeks. And it ended up being 3.5 months. And we were training so much, like you're feeling that level is getting better, but she is getting so much better also. So the more we train together, it's like you get a level higher and she will do the same. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like,
so
yeah.
Perhaps so perhaps you should actually train with some guys, but I don't know. Just
but we do at the beach, like you always say, with a lot of guys. It's just like nice to have a partner in crime that you drive together with and find the spots. And we also, like, I don't think there's anybody that has that effect on me like Sarah. Like, she's hyping me up like crazy a lot of times, and I don't know if it's because she's drinking a lot of coffee or something, but it affects me as well, like in a positive way. So in the end, it's way better to train together. It's the way. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, she has this effect, I think, on everybody. I don't train with her, but I'm excited to go sail when she starts shouting and
yeah, that's true. So
originally you weren't supposed to be going around Europe with the best freestyler in the world. You were supposed to be somewhere in a gym throwing balls, right?
Yeah.
Is it accurate that you were like top division Norwegian handball player, full professional handball player before you switched to windsurfing?
Yeah, it's true. Like I played 5 or 6 years in the top league, but I was studying at the same time. So I went to high school and then university. But I was choosing my university, so it was easy to um, combine with top handball because handball was actually the first priority. But I managed to do both things at the same time. So yeah, since I was 5 or 6 years old, I started playing handball, and it's been like the biggest dream of my life, like to become as good as possible. And when I was 21, I finished my bachelor degree, and I was like, you know what? Because 2 years before that, I tried windsurfing for the first time. And even though we had like a really important match, and if it was windy, I asked myself, like, do I want to play the match or would I like to be at the beach? And I wanted myself to say, okay, I want to play the match. But deep inside, I was like already hooked on windsurfing. So it was like a very hard moment to decide to take a year off from handball, and I never came back. I just went with the wind instead. But it was like a very strange thing because the moment I stopped playing handball, I was loving it. But the moment I stopped playing was like the moment I really discovered like the freedom, I think, because it's a hard lifestyle, the handball.
Yeah. Yeah, like any sport, you wake up, you go to the gym, you go to some sort
Yeah.
of training, whether it be physical or team practice. You come
Mhm.
back, eat, go to practice, and go to sleep pretty
Yeah.
much, right? I mean, very
Yeah,
different.
like, but I was loving it also because I do like to train 2 times a day and have a schedule and everything. But the fact is that I was lucky I didn't have a lot of injuries. But if you do play past your 25, 30, you will have a lot of surgeries also, like
Yeah.
injuries. And so I think I stopped actually at a good time. It was just pure luck actually, because that year the national team in Norway took me into one training camp, and the day before I played the game, and I pulled a muscle in my leg. So I was like, damn, finally I'm getting to the senior Norwegian camp. And then on the warm up, the physio saw that I was limping. I was trying to hide it because it was my dream. And then she was like, Oda, let me check your leg. And she was like, you know, we're going to send you home. And I was thinking maybe if I didn't pull that muscle, then I would still play handball instead of windsurf.
Yeah, I mean,
Because as soon as you get into the senior, um, like maybe where you live from it and stuff, like there's no way out.
yeah, why would you change? You're playing a professional sport. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah, so to me it sounds, I mean, for somebody that just loves to compete at a high level,
Mhm.
no
Mhm.
matter kind of which sport, I guess, because we are all competitive. We wouldn't be doing competition if we
Mhm.
weren't competitive. Then it sounds like a really hard thing because you have something that you're really good at, and then you decide
Mhm.
to, you know, to
Yeah.
leave it and go with something that you basically just started. So
Yeah.
so what made
Exactly.
you do that? What was like the inspiration behind that decision?
I I think for me, like always been like fascinated about like snowboard tricks and stuff like that. But we were not allowed to jump on like try 360. Like we had to stay injury free. And if you're gonna be injured, that's gonna happen when you play handball. So and then finally I found this sport that was on water. So like I was trying to learn Vulcans that year, and I learned that, and then Spock, and that was like kind of like 360, but you crash in water. You can crash hard, but not as snowboard. Like you won't break your back or anything. And I was like, oh, I finally found my like combination, uh, something that's a bit like freestyle slopestyle in snowboard, but still I won't injure myself on it because you crash on water. And then I just got so hooked on it, and the feeling of like playing, being fast on the board, trying 360, that was like the sickest feeling for me. And I felt like that was missing in my life as a handball player.
Yeah. So it was always freestyle. It was never a
Yeah,
foot like,
freestyle.
yeah.
Yeah, all the time freestyle.
Do you think windsurfing is one of the only sports that you could start so late and become professional at? Because if you think like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like I can play a little bit of basketball. If I think that at 21, when I was already doing the tour, I would decide to go have a professional basketball career. It has zero chance, not even 0.1. It has zero chance.
Yeah. That's the funny part, because in handball, if you started playing when you're 6 years old, you had a really good arm to throw the ball and you could shoot hard. If you started when you were 12 years old, you wouldn't have a chance. Like if you started playing handball when you're 12 years old, it's actually too late. I knew one girl that started. She was when she was 12 and she was a professional, but that's the only one. Like you started from when you're like 6. And so what happened for me was that like in handball you have like thousands of people playing it, so you're at the highest of the level. In windsurfing there are less. And but that year I went when I took a year off to sail as much as possible. I felt like I made a lot of progress. Like I was training windsurfing like I would play handball. Like we're filming everything, visualizing it, and trying to not take shortcuts but train smart. So you can try a trick over and over again, and you're like memory will remember how to fall. Or you can try a trick, analyze what you're doing wrong and what you need to change, and learn it faster.
Yeah, so you took like a really professional approach, which I think in freestyle, it's really like, we talked about this with Balz when he came on the show, and he was like, I was just trying stuff and like one run I would try shifty, the next run I would try, I don't know, whatever, double culo, whatever. There was no like consistency and training, and when I see some of the guys, so that's I guess the answer I was looking for, how the hell from 21 to like 23 you made enough progress to be on the World Cup, to be on the tour.
It's also important that you're choosing the right spots to train at. Like one of the first years I ended up in Cape Town, and you know what, for me to learn first the basic like sliding stuff, Cape Town was not this place. As soon as I got to Bonaire, I learned so many tricks that season, and then it was easier to go to the chop and stronger wind and everything. So I think I learned that from Cape Town. Like Cape Town for me now is good because I have a high level. So I was always going to the best spots for the moves I wanted to learn. Like it was not random that I would go to that spot. I knew that I want to learn those tricks at that spot, and the next trip I want to learn those tricks. So that's how it went.
Yeah. I remember we were doing some workouts in Korea with no wind, and you were killing the guys on dips and pull-ups and things like this. Do you think that being physically fit or strong helps? Because I have my theory, and especially in freestyle, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. Does it help?
Yeah, it's everything. So I feel like, really, really big guys are really big because they go in the gym and just lift, like a lot of them cannot use their body. But then you have really big guys or girls that can still use their body. And I'm sure it helps, like just to like have also like just like bigger feet and stuff. Like I think Mike and me, we have like the same shoe size, like when you go switch, it's easier to keep the board flat. Because a lot of the gear is developed by the men as well. But we have all really good physical, like the height and the weight. Like the gear, I feel like the gear fits me. And when you, for example, push on a scoop, for example, when you duck the sail and when you push, you have to like push really aggressively. And the stronger you are, the easier it is. For sure.
But at the same time, so this is my theory. When you learn certain sports when you are a kid or when you are really weak, you learn the technique better because you cannot compensate with you have no strength to compensate. I see with myself, because I was until 19, 20, I had no physical fitness whatsoever. But then I could really learn good technique. While now, when I try different sports, having a little bit of strength, Like the other day I went on dirt bikes, and like if you have strength, you compensate, and it's harder to learn the proper technique, so
Yeah,
um
but it's good to be like strong for your size. Like, um, you know what I mean?
no, I know. That's why we, like, a lot of the guys do a lot of like balance training and coordination,
Exactly. Yeah.
because your hand-eye coordination from ball sports, that
Yeah.
definitely helps, but
Yeah.
yeah, having strength, to me, like, anytime we were doing something as a group of young guys, the
Mm-hmm.
strongest physically guy would probably learn the slowest because he was compensating the most. But and especially
Mm-hmm.
freestyle is such a, you need to be so precise and so nimble, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Freestyle is like crazy. If you do a burner, for example, if you keep the arm here, you will do it. If you keep it here, the sail will go down in the water. It's like a small, like,
Adjustment,
it's
yeah.
very technical. And but I think it's very like what I do when I played handball, for example, it was a lot of running and gym, like lifting weights, and you played a lot of handball. So what I'm doing now is more like CrossFit, like handstand walks, playing tennis, mountain biking, running, balance training. Like there's a lot of, I always do a lot of different things. I also like started skateboarding a bit, like in the bowl. So I feel like the more variety you have, it's better for freestyle.
Yeah, I think it's better for your general fitness. It might not be better for performance for one thing, like slalom, for example. You need a lot of strength,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
for general fitness, it's for sure best to do a variety, because
Yeah.
you see guys that do one thing, then you put them in
Hmm.
another, and they really struggle, where what you do is probably, you're probably not going to be the best at lifting weights or whatever, but you can be pretty good in everything, right? So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
that's
just like when you do freestyle tricks, you ended up in like so many weird positions
yeah.
where you need to handle the impact and everything that if you would only do squats or lift the weight like that, I don't think that would help you that much.
Yeah, so
Mm.
probably if we were to elaborate, I think it's like like technique first, but then if you put the
Hmm.
power, then you get
Hmm.
height, you get,
Yeah.
right, like you
Hmm.
get the style, maybe, you get, like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so a lot of the technique training is also just being on the water and filming and analyzing that. I'm like a analyzer.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's great. Okay, so as we mentioned, you do your first World Cup at like 23, 24 in 2013.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you finished fifth straight away. Surprise, or you kind of
Yeah,
expected? You knew where you were?
no, I didn't expect it because that year was I think Lord Trabu just stopped. Some of the good girls stopped that year, and Mike and I we started that year. But the thing is that I didn't even want to compete actually because I like, you know what, I don't want to get the life I had in handball in windsurfing. Like I want to keep windsurfing fun. So I don't want to be like, because I'm really competitive. Like it's a hassle sometimes. I wanted to keep it as a fun thing, but then I joined because it's the only competition I could try. Because there's no, like most other sports, you have like in freestyle for the men a lot of times. They also have it for the girls now, but EFPT, you get to a level there, and then you join the World Cup. But in windsurfing, there were no other choice, and I was in for it anyway, so I joined. And I was like, whoa, I was loving it. It was hard because Mike and we could not actually do enough moves, I would say.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna do it because I just want to have fun with it. And then I love the competition so much, and that competition was very important. Level wise, I would not say it was a World Cup level at all, but level wise, the next year Mike and I came back and we could do so many more moves that we could like fulfill a hit. So imagine I would not have tried that year. Yeah, I just felt like that year was like a game changer actually. Then was the moment I realized that I actually want to do If I can make a living out of this, I want to push hard in this.
Yeah. This is a lot of times with young guys or even with older guys that sail a lot, and then guys and girls, of course, that they think like, okay, I need to get to a certain level to start competing, and they set this bar really high. You almost need to start competing to know, because competition is so different.
Yeah, you don't know where the bar is. Yeah, but I knew, like, I was traveling that year before, and I knew other girls that said that they were going to compete, and then I knew already that I would have the same or better level than them, and they were already wanted to compete. So in the end, it was good because like there's not enough women in freestyle. Freestyle is really hard, like to get to a level where you can actually like do a good heat. So I was thinking there's not a lot of girls, like maybe I should also do this for the sport, like try to get as good as possible to, because I was loving the sport so much and I wanted to grow and I want to see more girls doing it. So if I'm not doing it, who else is going to do it?
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Why no more girls are doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously super hard. Like freestyle is
so I feel
very
like
specific, right?
Let's say you want to compete in slalom, you can live almost anywhere in Europe. You will get windy days because they have bigger sails and everything. I think I could even be a good slalom sailor living in Norway, and we don't have enough windy days. I would not be a good freestyler if I would live in Norway and just train freestyle there, because there's not enough training days. And just to learn one trick takes a lot of time. But for example, if you want to train slalom, it's easier to show a good level going straight, jibing, and joining like a race with more people. But on freestyle, you're like sailing with yourself, and you need to do a lot of tricks. And I would say if you're gonna pass like the sliding level in freestyle, if you see people doing that, you know that they have spent so much time of their life traveling to places where it's windy, and they have probably taken years off from work or studies just to get to that level. Like there's like so much training behind like every move actually.
Yeah, but it's the same in any discipline. So doesn't really answer the question why freestyle specifically, you know?
So wait, tell me the question again. Maybe I was
No, we were talking why there is why freestyle struggles to attract girls, you know?
okay.
But...
So what I want to say, sorry, now I know what you mean. So you need so much training to do it, and how are you going to leave your job or studies to have money to stay at places where you can train that much? So the best girls are the ones that either have sponsors or get support to be at those spots where they can do it more full time.
Yeah, but this is the same in wave sailing and in slalom. You want to be good
at
slalom.
Also, but I could, for example, I could have a job in Norway, and I would still get a lot of days on the water. I could get a high level in slalom, but in freestyle you need like 15 to more than 15 knots to like get proper training.
No, because you have to sail with someone to improve in slalom. In freestyle, you can sail alone. You know.
But there's a lot of slalom sailors around. Like for example, me, like I could train with slalom people all the time in Norway also. Yeah. So I just feel like for freestyle you need like strong wind, and you need to be able to be at those spots. So I would say like being supported is important.
Yeah. Sounds like any discipline to me, but I'm not gonna.
It is also for waves, I agree. But especially waves and freestyle, you need to have waves and wind together. And in freestyle, you need a lot of wind. In slalom as well. But I would say the moment I started slalom sailing, I got so many days on the water at home, which was like amazing. Yeah. And I know I would not be going on a freestyle gear.
Yeah, but it's totally different. But whatever, I'm not gonna argue here. So then, the next from 2014 till now, you were ranked second, third. What do you think it takes for you girls to actually try to beat Sarah-Quita, who's been dominating now for a long time and only lost one heat, if I recall, in the last.
Yeah, Mike won the one heat
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
What do you think it would take from you? Not that Sarah has a bad heat or whatever, but what it takes from you to jump. If Sarah jumps one level up, you would have to jump two.
Yeah. So every day when I go in the water, I try to have like a plan what I want to learn and try to progress as fast as possible. But she's just like she's the most talented windsurfer ever. Like she is learning so much, and she also competed like 7 more years. And she started. I think she was professional since she was like 13, 14 or something. So to beat her is very, very hard. Like she's like so talented, and it's like at the moment now I'm just taking her as an inspiration to get better myself. But we're like, when you're like training outside the water and stuff, we're like very competitive also, which is a good thing. And on the water is like, if I would do a burner 360, she would do a burner pop 360 or something, like
720.
like if I do a shaka 360, she would do a shaka poke flaka, or like she's so like she's one step ahead all the time. So I would say right now she would have to break a mast, I guess. But we're always trying the best. We had
No, but like for the future, you have to. You definitely believe. I mean, you probably need to believe it's possible, right? Otherwise, what's the point
so
of trying?
what has been for now? So what has been the main reason why I freestyle is because it's not because of the competitions, because I love the sport so much. That's the main reason. And the most motivation for me is to learn the tricks I think are really cool. That's the main motivation. In slalom, it's more for the race results. And in handball, it was always about the game. Like, how did you win? Did you win? Freestyle is just very different for me. Like, I love to win, but for me, the times I got second place, that felt like winning. I feel like maybe Mike thought the same for many years. Like, the second place would feel like winning for us because, it's also hard to, like, Sarah is like one of the most talented humans out there, and she did this like so many more years than us as well. And at the same time, I don't regret that I had the past I had as a handball player, like that I lived that almost like living 2 lives. So it would definitely be better for my sailing if I started when I was also 10 years old, but I didn't. So try to catch up now and just learn the moves that I think are cool. And that's the main goal.
Yeah. So it's more like judging yourself against your level. Like if you do all your moves in a heat, you're happy regardless of the result.
So I had heats where like I would do my dream hit, but then she will also do her dream hit, and that right for now that is better.
Train hard, then I guess that's the only answer.
Train hard, and then we train all the time together.
Maybe maybe
we should like secretly go on a trip and train double.
Okay, so now let's get into this other topic, which connects obviously. I was really nervous when I talked to this with Sarah about this. I'm getting nervous now as well. When you win a World Cup, in women, in the women's division, you get about 3,500 euros. When you win in men, you get about 6,500. Your comment on that?
So I come from handball, and it was crazy when I started windsurfing, because in handball, like I was going to high school also with professional handball men, and like we're going to school together, and not one time have I heard any comments from the boys towards the women in handball, like ever. We're like equal, and sometimes we even felt like the women were more appreciated, kind of, because it's just like a really respected sport. And then I come to handball, no, windsurfing, and then I was joining these slalom meetings, I think. And yeah, just there's like a lot of opinions about that stuff. And I just come from Norway where like it's very equal everything, which I think is good. And the first year, some years ago in Gran Canaria, when it was suddenly equal prize money, there are a lot of people going mental on the internet, I heard. And like, why should the women make the same money as the men because they're less, la la la. And then there was a lot of like discussion going on. But the year after, when people just they realized maybe that was a good solution. The year after, nobody said anything about it when it was also equal prize money. And I just think, like, let's say you win a World Cup. For example, Sarah is the one winning the most, and she is putting in the same training. She's performing in like the same training. She needs to pay for the same board bags to travel. She's putting the same risk, and why should she be paid less? And let's say you need to sacrifice some year, not sacrifice, but you need to have a few years where more women are getting paid more, because then more women will have more time, more money to train more. And I would say that's the only way you get a good level. Like, I'm living good for windsurfing because of outside sponsors, and because of that I can train more as well. And just imagine you had the same prize money like as the men. You get on the podium and you can just go straight on a month to Australia and just train a lot, and I wish it was equal, because I know that would also attract more girls to join. And when you have more people, the top level is going to be higher as well, and the people, like, the top ones are going to be better, the next ones are going to be better. So just like,
it's like
back
this
the thing is,
like this evil circle, isn't it? Because you don't get you get paid less on the basis of the level being lower, but the level is lower because you're getting paid less. So it's like the chicken and the egg, kind of what was first,
For example, I was proud the first year I got the vice world champion. I was proud because I didn't make a single dollar to get there. I worked in 2 jobs in Norway, 2 months. I traveled 2 months and I trained as much as possible. When I didn't have money, I went home to work like that. And then I was thinking, like, man, this other guy that's like also training at this spot time, he's living full time of it. So the 2 months I am working in Norway, he's training those 2 months. So he's like actually training 6 months more than me that year. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I want to try to get sponsors so I can train more also. And the moment I can do it like kind of full time, my level got so much higher. And if we would have more competitions and more prize money, that would help so many more girls to train more. And if you go to your local beach, if people are working full time and they're trying freestyle, like, they don't really have a high level because you cannot spend so much time on the water.
I think the counter is not necessarily my opinion, but I think the counter to that is that, yes, the level is higher in men and the competition is, like you say, there's more guys, so it's actually harder. So it's like this evil little cycle. But I did some research and I did some homework.
But can I just say one thing first?
Yeah, sure.
For example, like, I think Joe Stone maybe was living good from windsurfing the moment he was doing Spocks in freestyle contests, just like the women never had that chance.
Yeah, but this is just a sign of the times. I mean, snowboarders 20 years ago, they were doing 360s and they were making millions, while now
the women just never joined that in the same way.
But this I don't think is a gender thing,
Okay.
Because also back then when Josh Stone was making a ton of money, the twins and Karen, Yagi, and these girls were making more than you girls are making now as well, So I don't think that's a gender thing. That's just a time.
The good thing about everything is that windsurfing is so much fun that, like, you want to do it in your holiday as well. Like, I don't think in the beginning I would have sacrificed like so much time and money from my own pocket to play handball. in the
Yeah.
same way, like, but I want to, like, every holiday, even when I will retire one day, like, I want to be on the water windsurfing in my holidays.
Yeah.
So that's a really sick part about our sport.
Yeah, but handball, correct me if I'm wrong, because I did some research on some other sports, but handball I didn't research actually. I bet, like, I'm pretty sure that there is a pay gap in handball as well between girls and guys, right? I mean,
There is, yeah. I realized, like, especially the last years after I stopped.
yeah. So yeah. So I did some research, and here's what I found. Like, so some sports, every sport is very different in this scenario, because, like, basketball, NBA minimum salary is 580,000 a year. WNBA, which is the women's, is maximum salary of 120,000 a year. So it's almost 5 times less the max than the minimum in the NBA. And how they do this is they just divide the revenue, the income that they manage to get. 50% of the income goes to the players and 50% goes to the owners. So this just comes from the amount of advertising they're able to sell, right? Or the tickets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tennis has equal prize money. And
what? Sorry, what is it?
Tennis has equal prize money for girls and guys. So that's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. And actually
I think surfing also now.
Yeah. But in surfing, I'm not sure how much they make from the sponsors. But in tennis, the top girls are making very, very similar money, or some of them more money than the top guys as well. But then we have other sports, like, I don't know, in Norway, it's probably popular, the ski jumping, as it is in Poland.
Yeah.
or car, or like race car racing, where there is no woman division, but if you want to compete, it's open. If you want to compete, you can. You know, so there was women in Formula One, for example, you know. So it seems like it's very, very different. So that made me realize, like, actually, maybe the windsurfing situation is not that bad. You know, if you look that in basketball they make 5 times less money than the minimum. The most paid player gets 5 times less than the least paid in the NBA. But it's obviously, like, in tennis is equal. I don't know. My feeling when the Gran Canaria thing came up was that it's not like they took away money from guys and gave it to the girls. They just found extra money for girls. So what's the problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, in the beginning, I thought maybe some guys thought that their prize money would be, like, threatened, but it was not the case at all.
Yeah.
It's just like when you make an event, like, you put that as a standard, and I just know that it would help so many more girls to, like, get to the events, get this motivation that I got the first time I competed. Like, oh man, I want to get better at this, and I think that's the most important part about it.
Yeah.
You get more people into it and hooked on it, and they want to train and get a good level.
Yeah. At the same time, it never happened in men that somebody that competes first time gets 5th, you know, and straight away gets some prize.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's so tricky to discuss. Like,
it's tricky to discuss. Like, but I was thinking, like, this. You say, for example, if you see, let's take an example, like Lina Ersen and her brother.
Yeah.
They're training a lot. They're on the duathlon. Yeah, they're training a lot, and let's say when they will get professional and get contracts, like, I would say, like, they should get the same, because they need they're training the same. They're like, the brother should not get paid better than the sister.
Yeah, but then if you look at that, then I should get paid the same as Leo Messi, because I did the same amount of work and effort, you know. But I don't know. What I want to focus on is not why this is happening. What I want to focus on is how to make the situation better for girls. Um, and I would like to ask you about your ideas and your. I know you're doing a camp for girls,
Yeah.
which is for sure some
Also for
groundwork.
men, it's like, yeah, it's a bit. I have a few dedicated girls camps, and then a lot of times I have like for mixed as well.
Yeah.
Most of
So
the time.
what would you do? What would you do to grow the professional part of the sport? You know, because in all the meetings that you mentioned, there were ideas ranging from equal prize money to having actually a separate tour for the girls to be able to
Mm-hmm.
sell it better, you know, to be able to sell it to a different audience. Um, what are your ideas to improve
You
this?
mean to improve, like, so why we should like get more popular, or to
Yeah,
get the
just to
level
improve
higher?
the professional side of the sport, meaning
Yeah,
to
I would
have
say
more
the what.
events, more money, better contracts, etc., and more participation, which is a part of it as well.
Mm, yeah, so I would say, like, for example, what the Moreno twins did, they had this girls clinic in Tenerife, I think. Like, there's so many young girls ripping in Pozo, and they had a training camp with them, and that, like that, the level would be really good. And then I guess it will also be more fascinating for like people to watch that as well. Like every time you see the Moreno twins in the water, like you want to watch them just as you would see the top men. Like it's so interesting.
Yes.
And stuff like that, like those camps, for example, are so important. And I also trained a few girls that joined my camps, and they got so into like learning freestyle tricks. And yeah, I guess you just need really good role models, and then there will be born new windsurfing talents out there.
Yeah. Do you feel that
So
it's actually improving the situation? Because this is what I feel. I see young girls like the Pozo. There is a big junior scene there, and it's like
mhm.
there's as many girls ripping as guys. Um, and yeah, you feel like it's kind of, you know, the work that you're putting in now is gonna actually pay off for the next generation. Do you feel that way?
So in this case, I was not doing anything. It was like the Morena twins that had this clinic, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, like if they get, let's say, all these girls, they found out they're really good at, for example, wave sailing, they will, I'm sure they will make a way to like live as a professional windsurfers, and the level will be really high. I don't know, they're like 10 or 15 girls or something, just like totally ripping, trying stall forwards and back loops, and they're still in school, like it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So any more like concrete ideas, um, what to do to try to, get this is like the base, let's say, yeah. This is like
Mm.
the stuff that will pay off in 10, 15 years. What about the now? What about um improving the situation of Oda, Maike, Sarah-Quita, the
I
top
guess like
girls?
finding sponsor for us, it is important with the equal prize money stuff. Like that is important. Like finding sponsors that are willing to pay equal, I would say, is very important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's so I get nervous talking about it because
It
it's
is. Yeah.
easier, it's much easier to talk about something that the solution, like promoting the sport in general. I have 50 ideas,
Hmm.
promoting the women's side of the sport. I have maybe 5 ideas. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so much, it just seems like so much harder to
Let's say, for
um
example, when I started windsurfing, what was most inspiring for me was also like see a lot of girls clips, like movies and cool projects, stuff like that, which I really like. Like I really like to make videos, and
yeah.
yeah. So for me, watching videos, like I remember I went to Brazil first time because I was watching Ariane's videos. She was like ripping in the small waves there. It's like, whoa, I want to go there and try to learn the same as she was doing. So for me, that was like very inspiring to watch those videos.
Yeah. Yeah,
to
definitely.
show the sport, because we don't have a lot of competitions. So you got to show your sponsors also, like, what are you doing, and it's easy to do that through videos, for example.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of part of the solution, is showing the girl lifestyle. Trying. I think not trying to do the same stuff as guys, being different, finding your own identity. I know you have your own identity. I don't want to say like I'm starting to sound like a total dick in this interview, but but what I mean is like trying to find a niche that you can basically sell to sponsors, which a girl's lifestyle is totally different, than a guy's lifestyle. And
Is it actually?
I think so. I think it is. I think generally you pay attention to different things. I don't know. I just feel like you could be easily sponsored by L'Oreal or Avon or whatever.
The only one I know that's sponsored by L'Oreal is the guy.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where this is not a sponsor that I would approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally. There is sponsors that are targeting certain groups.
Women. Yeah.
So women in a certain age, for example. And I think these are the sponsors that should be targeted. And I almost feel like when looking for sponsors nowadays, we should work sort of backwards. We shouldn't send the same presentation to everybody. We should figure out what is this company about, what kind of values they want to push, etc. And then like kind of put a tailor-made project for them. You know what I mean? So then there is certain brands that would target the lifestyle that you have, rather than mine or whoever's, so
Yeah, I just feel like the sponsors that I have from Norway, like, they don't care if I'm a boy or a girl, and it's like, yeah, but that's like the Norwegian mentality also, a bit.
yeah.
Like, I know that's very different from any other place as well. Like, I just, they're great.
You're also currently the best Norwegian, right? So that has a lot of value.
Yeah, and they think it's cool to support like a local girl that's like, or like, I'm born far away from the ocean, actually. Like, how did you grow up in this town and you ended up having your ocean as an office? Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. I really like this mindset of like, don't look if it's a girl or a guy. If that person is good and is bringing results, then fucking sponsor her. This is really nice mentality, I think. Yeah. Okay. Fuck, I got nervous again, talking about this. Because I'm like, I'm trying to tiptoe and like not say something wrong, but at the same time I need to play devil's advocate. I need to kind of push you and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really tricky to do this interview. I was talking to Sven about environment, and then again I need to play devil's advocate and kind of say what the naysayers are saying, and it makes me look like I don't give a shit about the environment, which is totally not.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough.
But that's your job.
Explaining myself. You're 31 currently, and freestyle seems to be the young people's thing. Right now, it moved away a little bit from that. Guys are over 30. It used to be a teenager sport. Now it's maybe a little bit more of a thing. But how much longer do you think, your body, the flexibility goes away, the explosiveness goes away? How
I was
much?
just waiting for this question actually. Like I was thinking I'm 31 now, and nobody ever asked me in any interview like, "So you're 31 now? Like how long can you do it?" This is
Maybe
the first
because you
time,
look
Maciek.
younger, you
Thank you.
know. Maybe because you look younger, and because you're probably fitter than most
For
guys
the
around, you know.
yeah,
So yeah,
because in handball you're kind of old when you're like 30. You're old in handball because you had so many injuries.
yeah,
But the thing is, like, I want to keep pushing as long as I feel progress, and every year I feel progress in every any discipline, and I feel like that's also more now because I'm living off it. I can train more. Maybe it would be different if I would live off it from the first time, but I feel like, yeah, I'm always checking my passport. Like, oh, whoa, I'm 31. I don't feel like that. Like not at all. And I feel like I just started also. Like I'm enjoying it so much. The competitions, the trainings, that this lifestyle, I'm gonna cry when it's over.
yeah,
Like I wanna do this because I feel like I have not reached my potential at all. And with all the training like you put down, like I don't I and I've seen like so many athletes that they even got babies and they train hard and actually they came back strongly. Like one of the best handball players, she has like 2 kids, like, and she's like 37 or something, but it's a mindset also. If you do think you're starting to get old and slow and stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna get you think that you're better, you have a better mindset, you train smarter, and I think feel like that can also be a strength.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I have a similar thing, you know. First of all,
You're feeling younger every time you wake up as well.
first, yeah, you know, like I go around and I don't know, I go out to town and I meet most of the people around are younger, you know, and I'm
Yeah,
like, shit, I'm old. But at the same time, when I go out windsurfing or nothing changed. Like, and in my mind also nothing changed. I look forward, I look to the future.
yeah,
So it's funny. And then Facebook shoves you with a 10 years ago and you were already on tour.
yeah.
You know?
But the worst is when you're gonna order flight tickets and you need to like put in your birthday date
And you
before
keep
you click one
scrolling and
time and you
scrolling.
find, but you keep scrolling. I'm like, whoa. And also the only reason why I also know that I'm 31 is like Sarah's 29. She's always making 30 and 31 jokes on me, like once a day or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's also that's
I'm the
the
same age. I'm the same age as Sarah
yeah. Wait till
and I,
next year, Magic.
and yeah, and Matteo is same age as you, and exactly the same thing happens all the time, you know.
Yeah,
So he's in his mid-30s and I'm in my mid-20s, you know.
yeah, exactly.
Uh
Yeah.
so the answer is as long as you possibly can. And is slalom
Yes.
something that you think like, okay, I have time to do, and once freestyle
Mhm.
it gets a little
So for
bit.
me, yeah, I do feel like freestyle is like the main priority because of what you're saying. Also, like I want to push as hard as possible in freestyle now, and I will push hard in slalom also. When there are competitions, I'm super motivated for those races. And but I do feel like last year when I was competing in slalom, then I realized like, oh, there's a lot of young girls on tour, and I finished on the podium in that contest, and I was racing with a very like yeah. The older you get, the more confident you are. Like in the end,
Yeah,
I
you have
remember one.
experience and you.
Yeah, because when I was playing handball, like sometimes because I don't get very nervous in competition, I feel like I have a good competition mind, like how to think. And because one time one coach told me like, Uda, you go out and you try to perform, but it's not the end of the world if you fail. If you're always scared to fail all the time, you it's gonna be hard to perform. So I tried to take that with me. And when I was racing slalom in France, I felt like so good on the water just because I was like, I'm gonna do my best, and I just felt yeah, like calm and confident about things. Maybe because the other girls like way younger, some of them, but and they I don't know. It was just like a nice feeling. I was like, oh man, I think you can get better with age sometimes.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
you. I remember you. I think it was your first contest. We were side by side in the tents and talking, and kind of you were getting it really fast. And I think you finished fourth, no, in Turkey. Maybe it wasn't your first contest, but it was your first year of doing it, you
Yeah.
know. And I remember thinking like, shit, you know, she's stronger than most girls. She's taller than most girls. She has the kind of right gear, because Starboard Severn already at that time was good gear.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And I thought like you really had a chance to go into it really strong, you know, and push really hard. But I guess the freestyle was always the priority, because you've been kind of on and off the slalom, right? Like doing some
Yeah.
events.
So I would do
and
like
having-
half of the events in slalom, and yeah. So you know what was funny? Like after France, like if it's really windy, like I will always choose to go freestyling first, because I just cannot miss a freestyle day.
Yeah.
But after France, after I finished that contest, I came home. It was perfect freestyle wind, but I was slalom sailing. So it's only about like the motivation. So I know that I can get really really into slalom sailing if I. So I want in the future. Actually, next year I would like to do all the slalom events as well, because I feel like I have not reached my potential. Like I did some good races, finishing second and third, and stuff like that. And I would say compared to freestyle, I have barely put in the work in slalom. So I'm looking forward to the time where I would just like put in my freestyle work in the slalom.
Yeah, that's
then
what I
think
was
there's
asking you,
no
because
limit.
I felt like you didn't put so much work, and naturally you have already such a good base, you know, that you could really challenge for, you know, for good places.
And that's cool, because like it's nice to have future goals in that discipline as well. And I just feel like that's a very good discipline to grow older in as well.
Yeah. So you started working for Starboard as well lately. Does
2 years already.
Yeah. Does that not lose a little bit of beauty of the sport when it becomes a job, and sometimes maybe instead of going sailing you have to look at the screen and look at windsurfing content, because you're doing social media, right?
And web stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. So sometimes it would be windy, but you would have to finish your web story or whatever. And then I did that when I was younger. That's how I made a living. And yeah, it kind of loses a little bit of that beauty, of that freedom. You feel that way?
No, not really, because it's very easy to calculate when it's going to be windy and when it's not going to be windy. So I have my office days on non-windy days, and you can schedule a lot of things. Like some days I would work a lot, some days I barely work. So, and I am kind of my own boss as well. And as long as I do what I need to do, it's very easy. Like it's the best thing to combine with windsurfing, because it kind of, even though it's about windsurfing, it does like sometimes it's challenging, and that's the cool part about it. So I feel like this is actually a good thing for me to do next to windsurfing. So then you take your mind off just your own training, and just it's nice. The combination is great.
Yeah. But you mentioned,
because I do what?
You mentioned windy days and non-windy days. Now that you have foil gear, there is no windy days.
That's true. So that might be an issue, yeah.
Is that appealing to you, the Olympic class? I don't know if there's, somebody from Norway, and if you have a team and whatever, but is that something that you kind of, like, let's say, is somewhere in there on the priority list, or is that something that you'd not really?
1 month ago, it was not. I was like, okay, I'm gonna let other people do that Olympic stuff. And then on this road trip, I have foil gear, So we joined foil training with Lilian de Hoes, or I don't know how to say it in the Dutch way, the Olympic sailor. We did a foil training in
Olympic
Holland.
medalist, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like thinking
World
like, oh
champion.
man, what if I put work into this? Like, it would be fun to see how far you can go. And then I put it a bit to the side, and then we drove through Germany. The car broke down. I bought a brand new engine for the car. So we stayed a week in Germany waiting for the car to be fixed. And then I started thinking more and more about the Olympic thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be on the sideline and see other people in Norway trying to get into the Olympics, and I could have tried it. So I decided like some weeks ago that in 2021 I want to start training for being able to compete try to make it. And I know there's a lot of sailors in Norway that want to do it. And yesterday I actually joined the meeting online about it. And during that meeting I was like, oh yeah, this is something cool. Like, I want to try to do this. So now, but I will be the only one that has to like balance that with slalom, freestyle, and a bit of wave and Olympic foiling. So I need to find a combination. But the good thing is that a lot of times when you foil, you're not freestyling. And when you're foiling, there's no wind for freestyle. So you just need to find out how to like find a balance there. But I decided that I don't want to be on the sideline watching people try to make it to the Olympics. I want to try to compete with them as well.
Yeah, so a little bit of
So I just
FOMO.
ordered the gear.
Yeah, so a little FOMO
And
there.
that's the start. Yeah, and at the same time, every time I am on the foil, I'm not very excited about the big board because every time I pull out my freestyle board, it's like so small, like a little baby, and the foil board is like, whoa, it's a door. But every time I'm on the board and I'm starting to foil, I'm loving it. It's like such a sick feeling.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Combine that with racing, I think it will fit me pretty well.
Yeah. My question is, who was faster, you or Lilian?
Lilian was fast. We didn't race. We're going like together, and we even had a boat and stuff. You know, they do that stuff. They have boats and coach but Lilian's better. She's tuned better also.
Yeah.
The gear is tuned better. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, maybe there is a little.
But they're foiling a lot.
That structure that you had in handball, you know, that you go to the water at 10, you come back, you have lunch, you go to the water at 3, you know.
And in foiling you can, because you don't need that much wind.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was thinking in the beginning, that's why I put it to the side in the beginning, because I was like, I don't want to make windsurfing that handball life. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
The gravity is.
It is calling me. Like I was dreaming about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try, because I feel like if I do put work into things, I can get good at things. So let's see. I want to try at least.
Yeah. Okay, so now, last kind of maybe a bit more, how you say, philosophical question. What does windsurfing mean to you?
For me, it's like, I feel like, for me, it's like the most important thing. Like it's the thing that gives me adrenaline and happiness. And when I do progress, it's a way for me to feel progress in things. And that in the end, that's the main thing that makes me happy, like for myself. Like, of course, friends, family, love, that stuff is really important. But it makes me very happy when I feel that I progress in something. That's the most important for me in windsurfing.
Yeah. So to end this beautiful podcast, we have our slow fire questions. They were supposed to be quick fire, but they're not very quick. So let's get on with those. What are your pet peeves?
Is that like annoying things?
Yes.
So like in general, you mean?
Yeah, in life.
there's not so much in it used to be like kite lines, but now I started kiting, so not anymore.
Yeah.
um I don't know. I don't have many things that annoys me actually.
Yeah.
Like if something is not nice, I just get out of the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's my way of dealing with things.
Yeah. 3
Like
apps
if
you
I don't
can't
like
live without.
3 apps.
Yeah.
Oh, for my job is like Facebook, Instagram, and Windy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times a day do you pee your wetsuit?
What?
How many times a day do you pee your wetsuit?
You know, I cannot pee in my wetsuit. I never peed in my wetsuit.
I
Like
don't believe
I
that.
cannot do it. No, it's true. My only wetsuits, they're even hanging here. They're so thick that it won't flush through. So I'm not taking the risk.
Yeah, but you can open
It's
the you know.
yeah, but it comes from higher up. So how are you gonna? Yeah. So no, I cannot get myself to do it. I'm one of the only windsurfers that are not peeing in my wetsuit. And I'm not selling it because I'm not telling it because I want to sell my secondhand wetsuits, but it's true. My friends will know.
I'm not sure
They,
if I
they
believe.
seem always They seem always walking off the beach because I will go and pee.
I'm not sure if I believe because there is only 2 types of windsurfers: the one that pee their wetsuits and the ones that lie about it. So, yeah,
It's true, Maciek. My hand is on my heart.
yeah. What is your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Like nobody is more chocolate than me.
Pretty sure there is people.
Okay, nobody can finish 200 grams chocolate in like a minute.
I can. Easy.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Milk chocolate though.
Yeah. Your top 5 windsurfers of all time.
For me, it's Sarah, Mike. I'd like to watch Balls a lot, and Kiri and Amado. Those are the ones I would watch the most. And Gulito also. That was 6.
Okay. Who is the most underrated windsurfer of all time?
I would maybe say Balls. Yeah, Balls.
Foil freestyle, yes or no?
Like I don't have more time to more discipline. So for me, is a no now. Yeah.
But in general, for the sport and for how it looks.
Oh. So in the beginning, I would say as long as you hold on to the boom and crash, it's fine. But I wouldn't be. And maybe it's the future. Like I need to try it first. I can almost not say it. I need to try it first before I say anything. It's good that you can freestyle in light wind. And I'm sure if I would not have been doing foil racing, I would probably get a set as well.
Yeah.
But I would actually put on a helmet.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool you say that because I hate people that didn't try something and say, this is shit. No,
like, yes, a lot of people are like, oh, why are you doing that? That's boring. And like, have you tried it?
Yeah.
And sometimes in certain wind conditions, that thing is awesome. And in other wind conditions, that thing is more fun. So
yeah,
you just got to make sure you have all the toys and you will have a lot of fun.
Definitely. Obstacles in slalom. Yes or no? If you had to rate.
That could be fun. Especially, like do a chop up or something. Maybe a loop on the small gear. I think it would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. One spot you would have to sail every day for the rest of your life.
Jericho-Quara.
Yes.
But without 300 people on the water at the same time. But like flat, small waves, for me, that's the coolest freestyle conditions ever.
Yeah. Your worst excess baggage bill or check-in story?
Maybe like from Bonaire, I had like foil gear, I had slalom gear, I had freestyle gear, and they wanted me to pay. Oh, it was so much. But I think I was in the end I had to take all the gear with me, but I took everything out. I put it one thing in, one more thing in, and in the end it was okay. But I paid like 1,500 or something like that. And also on the way back from Australia now, they also said that we had to pay so much, but in the end we barely paid. But you have to negotiate a lot of, like, you have to spend hours negotiating, and yeah.
And then you
I'm
almost
pretty
miss your
good
flight.
Sometimes, yeah. Or back home from Japan with all the slalom gear, they just said in Japan, they were like, no, we don't take your bags. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave all my gear here then.
Yeah.
And then in the end they helped us.
Oh, that's a ballsy move, definitely. Who's your worst competitor? Whichever
like
discipline.
close.
Whichever.
Yeah, like I'm always competing most against Mikey. I know, like it's always a challenge. It's like I love to compete against her because she will make me perform maybe the best. And I know there's a chance, but I also know that she's so good. Like she's the favorite. But that's why it's cool because she would have, as she's now the vice world champion. People expect her to win, but I know that it does put a lot of pressure on her as well. And yeah, just like that thing. And we have a good time, like before the heat and after. It's I like to compete with her.
Yeah. You get $1 million in cash and you need to spend it in 24 hours. What do you buy?
Apartments online, not seen.
Well, apartments, multiple. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of apartments, and then you rent
a lot
and
for $1 million.
You
a
windsurf.
lot of apartments. Wow.
A lot of apartments.
Okay. Last but not least, who would you like to hear on this podcast?
Next podcast would be cool. You had balls already, right?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe Ulia Raskina. Like she's one of the few women that came back, competed after she got a baby, and she's traveling a lot and how she's doing with that stuff.
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She's like a powerhouse.
Yeah, a big in a small a powerhouse in a small package. Yeah. Also, I think one of the only Russians to ever get on the tour. So yeah. Yeah,
I guess. Well, there's on the women's side. No. Steven Sveta.
Ah, yeah, of course.
She was also competing. Yeah.
Of course.
I think they were like training together for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, Oda, thank you so much. Really interesting.
Thank you.
Really
nice to talk to you.
Inspiring story, I think, for a lot of people, So thanks for that.
We'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Exactly. Please be kind in the comments. Especially to me.
It was a good time.
Enjoy
thank
Italy,
you.
And I guess I see you, I don't know, maybe not even this year, maybe next year. Or maybe if they open,
compete.
Maybe Cape Town or somewhere if we're able to travel.
Yeah, let's see.
Cool.
Let's see how the virus situation goes. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Maciek.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
There we go. Another podcast. Another good one as well. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another one. They come out every Wednesday. So if you subscribed, you should get that notification to tell you it's on. What else can I say? Oh, if you want to chip some beers in, you can. If you like the podcast that much, you think, you know what? I think these guys deserve a beer. They're doing a good job there at Windsurfing TV. I'll put the link below. You can chip in as few or as much as you want. Thanks for the support, everyone. We appreciate it. I'll put the links to other podcasts because we've pretty much done nearly 20 now. So there's a lot to choose from. If you haven't seen them all, well worth looking at, especially the Sven one last week. Interesting stuff in that. Okay, see you next Wednesday for the next podcast.